I'm just going to do a few videos on some of my guitars, and in particular some of the guitars I put together myself. It's quite an interesting piece. This I wanted a really lightweight Telecaster with a rosewood neck. So it's got Brazilian rosewood neck. It's got some nice flame on the back of it. The thing about this guitar which I really love is the combination of pickups, and I'm really friends with a guitar shop in London, in Camden, called the Bass Gallery. Highly recommend them if you need any work done to modify your guitars. It's got some cool sort of tuners, nice neck, Brazilian rosewood, quite chunky neck, and it's just been waxed, so there's no finish on the back of the neck, which I really like. It has an MJT body. Now MJT is a company you can find on eBay, and they actually make up bodies. And what I did, I contacted them and said, can I have no relicing whatsoever, because I damage my guitars quite easily because I'm quite a clumsy person. And I said, can I just have double layer of lacquer just to try and protect it? And it's quite funny because the actual lacquer, it was in the winter when I got it, and I think the temperature change between Los Angeles, where they made it, and London, England, it just cracked. As soon as I opened the case, you could hear the guitar just cracking. So all the nitro is just completely cracked, which is kind of cool. And it chips really easy. So it's actually become quite relict since I've had it, which has been about 3 or 4 years now. Really cool thing about this one is again the pickups, and this is probably the only Telecaster in the world which has a vintage Guyatone pickup from an SG. I think it's called an SG-12 guitar, and it has a 50s Dearmond pickup. And so the reason I wanted this configuration was because I really love the sound of this Guyatone in the neck position. It's just got a down the reverb a little bit. So that's got a really nice sort of real kind of jazzy tone to it. And then with the Dearmond, I was really into, there's a bit of a story about this. I suddenly started getting into spaghetti western soundtracks. And we're talking The Good, the Bad and the Ugly and Fistful of Dollars. And I did a bit of research and found out that it was a bunch of Italian session guitar players that worked with. There's obviously somebody that scored, an Italian guy, I forget his name, who scored it and had what was called a pop orchestra because they couldn't afford a full orchestra. So they just had a small group of musicians to perform these scores for the film. And they were kind of using all kinds of tricks to get out to get away with having only a small ensemble. So you get like there's one really cool soundtrack where the sort of sound is kind of that kind of thing, you know, just really cutting and you know, simple guitar lines, you know. Has that vibe to it, you know, so that's the kind of the story behind it, and so anyway, where were we? Yeah, spaghetti westerns, and these Italian dudes were mainly playing just stock Fender Strats. I think even the main guy had the second Fender Stratocaster that came to Europe. I think Hank Marvin had the first one, and this guy had the second one. So you know they were using them, but fast forward, this particular guitar player, the guitarist from those films, I saw him with a Telecaster, and he had two of these. He had one here and one there, you know, and he was playing all this kind of Hank Marvin. Just playing all that kind of stuff with these two Dearmonds, and I just thought, wow, that's just amazing. It's just, you know, who'd have thought putting a Dearmond in a Telecaster. Then I found out that the great jazz blues country player Bill Frisell had a Tele made with two Dearmonds. So there's a couple of those guitars with Dearmonds, but I think this is pretty much the only one with a Dearmond and a Goldfoil. And this combination together, let's check that out. Let's see what that sounds like. Turn that reverb down a bit, but we do love reverb. So it's got this really nice chimey sort of. Yeah, so just kind of a lucky sort of you know, gamble, and it paid off. You know, I'm using a Wilkerson bridge here, which is a shorter bridge, just in order to accommodate these. But yeah, this is one of my favourite guitars now. And sometimes, you know, when you put together a guitar, it's actually can be a disaster. It just doesn't work. But I put this guitar together. I had the neck actually made separate by a guy called Robert Gilmore. He made the neck, and the neck and the body just seemed to just fit like a glove. So I kind of knew that the guitar worked as an instrument. And then obviously with these pickups, it's really coming into its own. So, you know, I think don't be afraid to experiment with different guitars and different pickups and things like that. You know, you can be kind of surprise yourself, and then the journey is quite good fun. You know, buying parts. You know, it can cost a bit of money, and obviously if you want to sell it, you're never going to get your money back probably that you spent on it. But you know, I mean, this is a pretty unique guitar, and I've really started using this a lot for different projects that I'm involved with. And coming back to the spaghetti western sort of sound, you know, I didn't want to have to buy a Gretsch or Guild Duane Eddy model in order to get that tone. So, you know, just having it there in the Telecaster is fantastic, you know. So you've got the great Dearmond sound, and you've got the great Goldfoil. So that's it. So that's my Tele. Yeah, thank you for watching.